So for the first problem, we're going to be solving out for the x. The very first thing that we want to do with all of these is actually just identifying the different parts of the triangle. Notice that these are also just triangles, they're not vectors. I think that there's problems coming up which are vectors, and therefore you'll actually have to be paying a little bit more attention to the direction. But as of right now, these are just simply triangles, so you're not going to be having to think about whether it's going up and to the right, up and to the left, so on and so forth. So we're just going to be solving out for these variables. All right, so looking at this, let's identify, hey, which one of these is, what does the 10 represent here? Does this represent the adjacent, opposite, or hypotenuse? Hopefully you're saying to yourself that this is the hypotenuse, the longest part of the triangle. And considering that this is our reference angle, what does the x represent? Hopefully you're saying to yourself, hey, you know what? It's all the way over here, so I know that must mean that this is the opposite side. And we don't care about what this third part is. We're just solving out for the x, so those are the only two components that we're interested in right now. So we have the hypotenuse, and we're looking for the opposite. Which one of these trig functions are we going to be interested in? Are we going to be interested in sine, cosine, or tangent? Considering the idea that we have the hypotenuse and we're trying to find the opposite. All right, so if we're looking at sine, we see that sine has to deal with the opposite and hypotenuse, which are the two components that we're interested in. So that's a good indication to us that we're going to be using sine here. Okay, so sine of the reference angle, which is 28 degrees, is equal to the opposite, which is x, over the hypotenuse, which is 10. How do we get rid of this division of 10? Multiply this side by 10, and we multiply this side over here by 10 as well. Can't stress enough that you're multiplying sine 28 degrees times the 10, not 28 times 10 and taking the sine of that. All right, so we plug this in the calculator and you should get the answer of 4.7. Make sure that that's the case. All right, moving on to the next problem. Let's once again identify the different parts of the triangle. So what is this x representing? Hopefully you're saying by now that that's our hypotenuse. What about the 30? Keeping in mind that we have the reference angle right here. What does this 30 represent? Well, it's the side that's touching the reference angle. So this is our adjacent, okay? And so and we're not even, we don't care about this third part of the triangle right now. It has nothing to do with what we actually are dealing with. So we're just going to be solving out for x. So which one of these trig functions has to do with both the adjacent and the hypotenuse? Hopefully you're saying the cosine of theta. So, all right, let's just do our substitution now. So we have cosine of theta, which is our reference angle, which is 35 degrees, is equal to the adjacent, which is 30, divided by our hypotenuse, which is x. Oh, thinking about the do now, once again, we should be able to solve out for our x. What was the trick that I showed you to actually help you solve out for x? You remember this? Where we do a little switcheroo right here? So we have x is equal to 30 divided by cosine of 35 degrees. And we plug this in the calculator and we should get 36.6. Once again, does 36.6 make sense? Well, yeah, you know what? We have 30 over here. I could just imagine that the hypotenuse, which is just the longest side, would be 36.6. What about the previous one? Hey, you know what? Does 4.7 make sense? Well, yeah, if our hypotenuse is 10, I can imagine that that's 4.7. Okay, so try these other problems on your own. Try the ones with the one missing variable. You should be able to do these. If not, make a comment in the comment section and I will help you out. I think that these are, you know what? Pause the video, try these out, unpause it, and let's do it together. Okay, all right, so hopefully that was enough time, and let's actually get into these now. So we have here our 24 degrees. What is this right now? So our x represents what? hopefully you're saying the adjacent, and the 12 is the opposite. What has to do with both adjacent and opposite? Hopefully you're saying the tan function. Okay, so it's tan of the reference angle, which is 24 degrees, is equal to the opposite, which is 12, divided by the adjacent, which is our x. Once again, we do a little switcheroo, and we have x is equal to 12 divided by tan of 24. And that should get us our 27. Okay, you know what? Try the rest of these. If you have any sort of issues, make a comment.